Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yeah,
How are
nice.
you?
Yeah, I'm good. How about you?
Excellent. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, same here.
So, where are you located?
So I'm based in Boston, but right
Okay.
now I'm in Madison for post New Year for a couple of days. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Well, I'm in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm in the middle of America.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I have lived in St. Louis for a year.
Okay. Yeah. It's a great city. Great city.
Yeah.
Well, you got a great background. I'm really interested in peeling back the layers, and I want to begin our conversation with living through this pandemic for the last 3.5 years or so. How did you get through it, and how did it change you?
I mean, pandemic was tough. I mean, personally, there are things that are challenging that you need to adapt, right? But at least business-wise, it was tough, because we just started our business like a couple of years. We were all like fresh out of, couple of our founders are fresh out of college, right? And I mean, like we didn't really know whether like what would happen next. We were just bootstrapping everything out back then, right? Businesses were shutting down. But I think it was resilient, just being resilient, just having that survival mode, just making sure that we stick to the basics. And we just kept on reaching out to customers to let them know, hey, we are still operating. Reach out to us if you need any kind of help. And as things started unfolding, we made sure that when things started working, when everything was back up, we made sure that we were there for our customers and they could reach out. Yeah.
So let's get to the essence of what you do on a daily basis. If I put you in front of a bunch of grade school kids, let's say third graders, it's career day at an elementary school, and one of the kids says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How would you answer that child?
Well, the way I would tell them is like I develop products. Product would be like anything like if you're using this device, right? You're playing with something. Someone has designed that or developed that, right? So I'm one of the key person who would be bringing in the team together to make that happen.
So, what did you want to be when you were like 10 years old? What was your dream to grow up and become?
To be honest, like I have grown up in India, right? I moved to US like 10 years back. Um, I wouldn't say like, I mean, technology was not that big at that point of time, at least when I grew up. Like I barely had access to computer till I was in my teens, late teens maybe, right?
Yeah.
And even then it was like very basic Microsoft, like just to play some card games or solve it, right? So yeah, I was just I don't know, I was just good at what I was doing, right? I didn't really have like a lofty ambition of I need to be this, I need to be that. I was really good at maths, and I just wanted to do something relevant to that. Yeah.
But there is a culture in India where there is a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of highly driven individuals that are really looking for opportunity and to expand that. Was that always kind of a part of who you were? And did you have this vision of wanting to come to America and expand out at some point?
To be honest, I think my journey was much more natural. I, I I was really good at what I was doing. I was at code as a kid, right? I got into one of the premier most institute in India for my undergrad. So post my undergrad, I just coming to US was one of natural choice for me in terms of expansion of my education, right? But yeah, I think India has changed quite a bit in last 2 decades. Uh, People come like before. I think one of the best way to scale your career or just have experiences in life was to step into like developed countries, right? Like US, UK, Australia. But now there's a lot of local economy there, which is thriving, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs based on that, who are building a lot of startups and like growing that ecosystem there. Yeah.
Yeah. So who's been a hero and inspiration for you in your life?
I would say my mom. I think her ambition has really got me till here, to be honest, right? Her hard work, dedication, whatever she put in the early stages of my life, uh, put her in the right places at the right time to provide us the right opportunities.
So if you can meet anybody on the planet right now that's an inspiration, who would you love to meet and talk to?
That's an interesting question. Um, I don't know. I feel like I think off late I'm really looking for like when I was growing up I was really like more like a sports lover, right? Like you look at sports idols and you really don't know what you like, but you just like the fact that they're winning, right?
Yeah.
I think these days I'm more interested. I always wanted to know the ethic, like the whatever the process behind it, right? So any one of the people who have made it, like what is their day-to-day life? How do they make it happen, right?
Yeah.
And so even if you try it, it's so hard to keep up that rhythm, keep up that discipline, right? There's so many distractions around you, right? How do you still make sure that you get it? Yeah, I don't really have a person in mind, but I think those are a few things I would be looking for,
And
knowing.
obviously with people like that, they love what they do, and you clearly do. What is
Yes.
that love? What is it? What do you love the best about what you do?
Yeah, so for me, it was not easy to find, right? Because if I feel like in sports and all, like you tend to find it so early in your stage and you're just trying, doubling down, doubling down, doubling down, and then finally you become like one of the big in the world and people recognize you. But there's a 20 years of hard work, right? But in business, like you don't set up a business when you are like 6 year old or 8 year old or 10 year old, right? You kind of venture into in your mid 20s, sometimes in your mid 30s, right? And you really need to you need to figure out what you like business has many components to it. You might like to be a CEO, you might like to be someone who is designing the product, or you might like someone who is behind the books and understanding what is happening with the accounting aspect of the company, right? So for me, what got into me in this journey was I just wanted to do something on my own, right? I don't know, I think I worked for a few years. I felt like I was a bit restricted in terms of I just didn't enjoy that aspect. So I thought maybe doing something on my own is going to help me. And once I started doing it, I could just put down like 20 hours, 18 hours every day, right? I would sleep with the thoughts. I would wake up with the thoughts. I would like go like a zombie mode, literally, right? But I never felt bad about it,
Yeah.
So in that course, I think product management is something I felt like, okay, I started liking more and more. But I think just doing something by myself was my first thing. And I think if I go a little bit deeper, I think product management is where I found my niche.
So what product or what venture have you completed that you're the proudest of?
Yeah, so currently we are building a marketplace for last mile logistics, both in US and Mexico. So it's like similar to Uber, but we deal with like big and bulky products. So we can move like HVAC units, condenser units, or cement bags, or even like retail, like palleted stuff, right? Yeah, so I kind of oversee the product and technology at Partner, which I co-founded. Yeah, so I think that is something I'm proud of.
So what do you miss the most about being in America and not living in India? What do you miss the most about being in India?
So it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. And thing is, I never worked in India. I only studied there, right? So I don't really know. I have friends and all, right? But my friends kind of dispersed. So not, we have family and all, but if you put aside the personal things, for me, I think I kind of found what how can I say, whatever I like in US. So I wouldn't say like I miss quite a bit in India,
Yeah.
because I kind of
So
started things from zero here and I kind of found things my way here. Yeah.
yeah. So if you ran into that version of you 10 years ago, right before you came to America, and you could give that version of you a piece of advice based on what you've learned, the wisdom you've gained so far, what
Yeah.
advice would you give that younger version of you prior to moving here?
Yeah. I think in life it always happens, right? You make you win something and then you tend to relax. You feel like you accomplish your things and you tend to relax. Sometimes relaxation lasts for a week, sometimes goes for a month, sometimes it could be a year, right? And the longer it lasts, you kind of go into a zone that it's kind of tougher to come up, right? I think that's what I would always looking back, I always felt like, there were times when I was achieving few things, but then I always kind of took a step back, right? I think moving forward, I wouldn't want to do that. I want to like keep doubling down as I make more and more progress.
Yeah.
And which is tough, yeah.
Yeah. So of all the things that you've done and evolved and traveled to and become, what are you the proudest of?
I I believe it's my journey, to be honest. Like I said, I wasn't like the smartest of the kid when I was growing up, nor I was the top grade in my undergrad, right? So I kind of, it was like a very self. I just put myself. I just kind of threw myself into the water,
Yeah.
tried learn
Yeah.
to how to swim. I wouldn't recommend for many people, right? It's a lot of stress, a lot of challenges, right? But yeah, I kind of kept through that. Like, still like entrepreneurship journey is never done. Like, you always need to be making sure you're afloat and things like that. But yeah, I think it's a journey and things on those lines. Yeah,
So all of these people in your life, family, friends, the clients, colleagues, they all have this idea of you, but you
yeah.
ultimately are in control. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I, I mean, these are like who think I am. That's a very interesting question. So I don't know. I think I what I learned at least in this journey is you really need to listen to others. It's not easy. Even though you could be right, you need to really try to understand what other people are trying to communicate and try to maybe speak in their own in that language. At the same time, it's tough to get a lot of criticism, like, it's like going through all those things. So I'm trying to still figure out where I find in. I feel like I need to kind of adapt to a lot of things that I'm figured, like, personal traits. Just I feel like, somehow once we become teens, we feel like we know it all, I think
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah,
mindset kind of goes along to your 20s and 30s, right? And it's very tough to undo it. I think that's
yeah,
what even I am in right now. Like, I learned quite a bit that I need to stop thinking that I know it. Because when you feel like you know it, you get angry, you can't take a criticism, you can't listen to others. Things like that keep getting added up, right?
yeah.
So that's something I'm trying to avoid. So maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to get in business with you, reach out to you, learn more about what you've done in product development, anything about your world, where can they go?
Yeah. LinkedIn, I think LinkedIn is the best place to connect. It has personally been for me too. Like, it has opened doors to meet different people, connect with different experts, right? Also, personally, I also do advisorship for startups, for like early stage companies, right? Just from my personal experience, the mistakes I have done, I can clearly see many companies going through that. And yeah, so I think LinkedIn is the best place.
Taryn, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for your story. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Best of luck with everything. Have a great 2024.
Yeah, thank you. Same to you, Joe. And
Thank you,
have a
sir.
good